I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 20th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It is 9:02 a.m. and we'll begin with the pledge. Beth West.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Because we do have a member that is remote, every vote will be done by roll call today. Approval of minutes, do I have a motion?
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion approves. Before we begin the public officer swearing in, Chief Breton?
We have Brian Lennig here and his partner Kerr, who recently retired. We wanted to bring him before the Board of Works so everybody can give him a proper send-off. Brian's had a life-changing opportunity to buy into his father-in-law's business. We're very happy for him. We hate to see him and Kerr go. But Kerr's, I know, enjoying retirement already by the pictures I was sent. So.
Brian, please step forward. A couple words. We're so thankful for your service, both you and Kerr. And we just want to say thank you for all that you've done. You've set a standard for the police department, and you will sincerely be missed. And if you guys want to take photos from the back, that's fine with me. You can come here if you want to get photos from the front.
Well, I'm gonna try not to destroy any of your camera equipment here, but no, I just wanna say thank you. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, and you guys made this process outstanding, so thank you.
What kind of things did Kerr do during his career?
He was a dual-purpose K-9, so he did narcotics, tracking, apprehension, a little bit of everything.
We can show Attorney Otis if we want to have him.
You can subpoena his records.
Yeah.
I just wanna say thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it.
Well, again, both you and Kerr set a standard that we want in LaPorte, and thank you for your service, and we wish you the best of luck in whatever business that is. I'm sure the city of LaPorte will receive a great discount.
About that later.
If you don't mind, I'd like to get a photo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if Kerr doesn't want that, could we also have I know we have our mayor board members.
It's cute, it's a cute dog.
I know. His paws are huge.
Are you feeling better? Hey, I had to tell you, last night, David said that we encumbered a landfill contract that wasn't signed, he said. from Jacob and Hoffman. So he said, I said, well, I'm not encumbering anything that's not a signed contract. It's signed.
Would you like to introduce your family while you're here, by the way?
Sure. That's my
Okay,
wife,
but he said
Danielle,
it's gonna have a seat at.
my youngest daughter, Amelia.
Thank you for allowing.
Better tell him, because I don't know if he'll do it under other business. Aw, cute baby.
Well, what goes around comes around. Let's move forward with police officer swearing in.
You texting
I'd like to
him?
introduce J.T. Martin. We were lucky enough to get him while he was at the police academy with, where's your recruiting officer? He's hiding back there. And we're lucky enough to land him, so he is academy certified. He starts his FTO Thursday night at over 30 on midnight.
Yes.
I I told him he has to give a 5-minute speech after. So, he's ready. Please you raise your right hand. I, J.T. Martin,
I, J.T. Martin,
do solemnly swear that I will,
that I solemnly swear that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the laws and Constitution
the laws and Constitution
of the state of Indiana.
of the state of Indiana,
And I will,
and I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully execute
faithfully execute
the position of police officer
the position of police officer
for the city of LaPorte,
for the city of LaPorte,
Indiana, so help me God.
Indiana, so help me God.
Congratulations. Now you have to give your 5-minute speech.
Please give the public a little information about you and how you ended up in LaPorte.
Just a young boy, I was born in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, huge football fan, roll tide.
Days.
Went on, grew up in northern Indiana by Illinois, on the Illinois side. Served in the Air Force, 6 years active, 1 year guard, and I was an MP in the Air Force. So I was wanting to be a cop since I was a little boy when I seen the first Alabama State Trooper at the top of the driveway. I remember seeing the blue lights. Then I went to the academy, and when I left the Air Force in 2015, I had a missing part of me. The brotherhood that you get in the military, you can never like mimic it anywhere. And it wasn't until I went to the academy and met a couple good people, former prior academy candidate recruits over there. Got Deputy Mosley. That's my brother from another mother over there. From Union County. And then I got Alex. He's Army. So we of course clicked right away right at the academy, and we got Quail back there a little quiet. I met him towards the end of the academy, but then we got to know each other, and then we formed a little crew called Goon Squad. It was a good time. So, and then the chief, of course, met the chief after I talked to Alex, and Alex spun up the department really well. And I'm looking forward to a long 20 years here. So, thank you, Mayor, and everyone, for allowing me to be a part of this community over here.
Well, we're excited to have you. Please introduce your family.
Yes. So this is my wife, Emily. This is my daughter, Skylar. That's my son, Mason. That's my sister, Nikki. And that's my mother, Barbara, over there. So,
Welcome to LaPorte. We're going to keep them safe, and we're glad to have them. Would you like to take a minute, family photos? Family photos, and then we'll have a Board of Works photo and some of the merit board and officers as well.
Oh, look at Skylar's little boots. I should have waited till you're not psychosis from.
Officers, recruiters, the ones that recruiters.
You're brave to wear them bears.
Squeeze in. Get comfy. Okay, I'm backing up. Newton County. He's from, where's JT from, Mayor? Where's he from? Jasper.
That's exciting. That's a great way to start the day, Mayor. Good job. He seems like a great fit.
And again, don't feel the need to stay after that, so. Public comment? Seeing none, anything social media? Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
Okay, we have payroll from 12/9 in the amount of $467,950.20.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $1,176,694.18.
Make a motion to approve the civil city claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call?
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes.
We have sewage claims in the amount of $309,215.44.
Make a motion to approve the sewage claims.
Second.
Second? I
Oh,
have a
second.
motion. I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye.
Thank you. And we have water claims in the amount of $86,488.89.
Make a motion to approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call?
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Every year at this time, we also ask for board approval to continue to pay necessary claims through the end of the year with 2022's budget. They'll show up on the first docket for January, which is on the 4th, but we ask that we can cut whatever checks we're able to from 2022's funds before we start 2023's budget. So I'm asking for board approval for that.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
And again, I just want to say, discussion-wise, this is so important. Baker Tilly is well thought of statewide.
Well, that's different. It's different. That's different. Sorry.
We're talking about cutting checks
Just,
between now
just,
and year end.
yeah, it's
But
just,
that is still the important part. I want to say, the financial plan is so important as a partner that we have in Baker Tilly, and this is just so important.
okay. Member Romine,
Aye.
Member Kosher,
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, then we have, like Mayor Dermody was talking about, just an update to the comprehensive financial plan, updated scope of services. We also do this every year. So since Mayor Dermody's administration started, this is our roadmap for capital projects to see where we're going. So I ask that the board approve this contract as well. It'll just keep us up to date.
Make a motion to approve the engagement letter for 2023 services.
I will second that. And again, discussion, just to reiterate again, that this is so important financially. Things change at the State House, across the state, and they really help map out what opportunities there are available for us and allows us to really focus on our priorities and how we make those happen. So, further discussion?
Member Romine,
Aye.
Member Kosher,
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, for me, we've got our IT contract for Proven IT, which is formerly Think Tank. If you've had a chance to check this out, we've got Brad Cook here from Proven IT as well, if there are any questions on the contract. City Attorney Otis also reviewed this contract as well. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add.
Nope, we made some changes, Brad and I did, and I'm comfortable with it at this point.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussions. I think one of the things, they've been a good partner. While things may not all work perfectly at times, they've been a great partner to have discussion, to listen, to work together, to make improvements specific to each department. We look forward to that continuing in the next year. And I'd also like to thank them as well for the transparency that will be provided through the monitors so that the public can continue to be involved and engaged in what we're doing here. So, Brad, thank you for that. Anything you'd like to add to come forward and speak? And state your name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Brad Cook. I'm the sales director for Proven IT. Just really looking forward. This will be going on my 8th year working with the city of LaPorte from your IT level. I'm looking forward to another couple of years working with you. Each of the departments, we've had a lot over this past year, and I am really looking forward to, again, for a great partnership that we currently have and enjoy, and looking to another great 23 for you guys. So. This is going to be a big year, I think, for everyone, and we just finished some great projects, specific with the police department. And from a security standpoint, we're going to make sure to keep the city safe and moving and grooving for the next year. So thank you very much.
And Brad, if you could just share with the public how often we face issues from the outside trying to get in.
Cybersecurity
Threats?
against municipalities has been on the rise ever since COVID hit. I mean, it's always been an issue, but this past couple of years you've seen quite a bit of an increase against municipalities in particular. I believe I stated to a councilman a couple weeks ago, kind of same idea. There was a point in the summer of this past year where there was a specific department in the city that was getting hammered pretty hard, several hundred attempts throughout the day as an attack, and we were able to thwart it and be able to keep that particular department safe. With all of the countermeasures we've been able to implement over this past year and improvements that we've made, we haven't had any incidents over the whole year or ever for the last several years actually that has put the city at risk. So continuing that and evolving as cybersecurity threats do, we will stay on top of them as we can and keep the transparency up with the city and keeping every department as safe as we can at that point too.
And we've seen other municipalities be hit by this locally, and we've not been. So, further discussion?
Brad, what,
Mr. Cook?
Yes, sir.
Oh, just wanted to ask, just in terms of, having countering all the threats, how does what you do proactively in terms of following what's going on do I need to speak up a little more?
no, we can.
Sorry, I didn't get to the last part of it.
Oh, so just wondering, like the proactive piece of it, especially as you see these types of attacks going on in municipalities and governmental organizations around the country, to what extent are you kind of networked to be able to then see, like if something's happening, let's say in Colorado, you can then counteract something and be prepared for it here?
Sure. Yeah, the one nice thing about, especially as Mayor has stated before, prior to Proven IT coming in and Think Tank, we've been able to add a lot of different services to the city. Proven IT is a little bit larger of a company in which the resources are a lot greater. We have some unique partnerships with a lot of government agencies, the NSA, the FBI, things that we're connected to that we're constantly on the forefront of the kind of threats and any intrusional paths that you'll see, and I mean daily changing. And the things that we have implemented now throughout the city with what we call a SOC, or a Security Operations Center, that we operate out of our Tinley Park office, actively promotes the idea of your proactiveness. A lot of IT companies will call themselves proactive, where in fact they are more reactive than proactive, that a threat may come up and it might be a couple weeks before they're able to implement a fix. With the implementation of our Security Operations Center, we'll be able to stay at the forefront of that, implementing the fixes, implementing the updates that need to be done, and making sure that when we do see something like a large threat via email or a driver issue that may be allow a threat in, we're staying on top of those, being able to shut them down immediately. So. We're able to stay a little bit more on the forefront that way, and with the combination of the other government entities that we have to gather that information, we're able to really focus on making sure that we're implementing those changes immediately and staying hours ahead of the threats as they happen.
Are these coming in through, we get the spam emails that are some of them are really good now, but is that one of the main, what are the ways they're
Gary
getting
gets
in?
all of them.
Yeah, phishing attempts, that's what they call it, or
Yeah.
they're called, phishing with PHI is what they're actually said. And a lot of departments and, in the city itself, we actually we have a training program that we're doing with the city right now, where it sends fake emails out. It's a good training tool. That's really the best way to really thwart that. It's the person and persons within the business or within the municipality ourselves are actually pretty much the weakest link when you're looking at it. Education, getting an idea of what threats are out there, being able to identify the emails that are really good. See, a lot of people would not be able to identify those type of threats in particular, but that is where the main channel of a lot of the intrusion is through the email portion. Office 365 login informations. Everyone always complains to me that they have to change their passwords, but there's a good reason for that. And the complexity of going from pass 1, 2, 3, 4 to a 20-character password change has a lot of good reasoning
Wow.
behind it. So.
So a couple weeks ago, I was driving in Chicago, and I noticed that Proven IT had a huge sign on the White Sox stadium. Are you guys White Sox fans?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
We're currently partners with the Chicago White Sox, and I know that has been a conversational piece for several people within the city, which we and citizens, which we very much would like to entertain this year.
Yeah.
We're also partners with the Chicago Bears, and we also did those IT for the Chicago Fire. So we have a lot of really good sports, and I'm looking forward to having those particular conversations this upcoming year.
Further questions for Mr. Cook? I do have a motion and a second. All in favor? State by.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, yes.
Member Romine.
Aye.
Member Kosher.
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you for
Brad.
a Cubs fan. Nick.
That's I am, yeah. That's why I'm questioning that, yeah.
New business contract for fob system, Annette Leffler.
I have 3 quotes for, to rekey our building and make it into a fob system. Just a little background, our building was rekeyed the last time in 2004. And since then, we've had a reconstruction in the building, so some of the doors were actually moved to other places, and our keys were keyed to each door. So I now have employees who have 2 and 3 keys to get into the building. And since 2004, keys have been made, and I literally have no idea who has keys or access to the building anymore. We just felt like it was time to do something. And to update, the 3 quotes I have are to go to a fob system, which would be a single door access for all our employees. And it would be run through a computer. We would have total access to who comes in and out of the building, outside of working hours, of course. And it's just a better system for us at this point, I think. We won't be worrying about people turning keys in or out. We will just turn off their access to the building when they no longer need it. And so it's $73,000 actually for all 3. And I believe, I don't know if it matters, but I believe most of it's been saved from this year's budget to spend
Encumbered.
in next year.
All but
when we-
18,000's being encumbered this year.
That we can encumber most of it.
Yep.
If you have any questions, I don't know.
But you said we have 3 quotes?
Yes, so the main quote is for the system itself, and that is from Electromedia out of South Bend, and they are working by and through Larson Danielson, who then we have 2 quotes from Larson Danielson, because they have to prepare several of every door has to be prepared to receive this system, and they have to install a couple new doors. And so we have 2 quotes from Larson Danielson and 1 from Electromedia to get all the work done.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Questions?
Do we know if is this a company that Larson Danielson has worked with in the past or works with routinely?
Yes.
Do we know that?
It is a company they've worked with, and I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me, but we did have a list of places that they've worked with. I believe that one of Notre Dame's buildings was one on them, so they're well-known in South Bend for this fob system that they install.
Okay, and just one more question, because I think you mentioned this, but this is basically a system in which when an employee, of course, you mentioned that you can turn off their access, but also when an employee comes in, you know who went in, which door, like what time
Yes.
exactly, correct? Is that,
Yes,
okay.
that's correct. We could also manage it, I don't know if this is a necessity for us or not, that'll be a discussion for later, but we can also manage it to where our employees only have access during certain hours. Like we might have employees who we feel don't need to have access to the building on the weekends, and so we can set those parameters too.
In this day and age, it's important from a safety perspective, so this is a good move forward. Further
Yeah,
questions?
I agree.
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Annette. Nick Otis, request for authority to sign agreement.
Yes, this is the part of a project that Jerry would like to get done for the stormwater and sewer department. It is a parcel of land that is adjacent to Jerry's buildings, and we need to get one more appraisal on it in order to make a offer on this parcel. So this is part of, a small part of the Rhoda property that would be helpful to Jerry.
To give you an idea where it's at, if you, south part of the parcel where the solar field is at, if you drew a straight line over it, cut out a little triangle that juts up in our property that's part of the Rhoda farm. And it would be used as a pad to discharge our sewer cleaning, catch basin cleaning truck, and potentially street cleaning machines. Right now, we use an old lagoon to dump our, and then we haul out of that. And we need that space for future operations, so we're gonna eliminate the lagoon and build a system that is more day-to-day usable. We discharge the solids, let them dry, next week we get hauled out instead of building a big stockpile. So we'll have a better system.
I noticed how you said potentially street sweepings.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, because we've been talking about storing street sweepings at street, but it also, there'd be some efficiency to haul them instead of tracking all the way back to street to discharge them at the treatment plant. They're also very dry and our solids are wet, so blending them would make it better to haul away, a little easier to manage. So we've been talking about working together on that project.
And the current owner, basically this property, this piece of property is unusable for them.
It's juts right into the treatment plant, so it's not, certainly not their best.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none,
Just
roll.
quick question regarding like so budget-wise, where would this come from then to, if this is approved and it moves forward?
Out of the wastewater capital budget.
Is that what, okay.
This is just the appraisal, though, to get the second appraisal done.
Okay.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Andrea Smith, update communicable disease policy.
What? That's been a while.
Good morning, board members. Attorney Otis, do you want to do the independent contractor at this point?
Yes,
as
and
well?
I apologize. Tim Warner called me this morning, and it didn't realize he needed this on the agenda. There is a longtime, make sure I got this right, longtime employee that is retiring. Is that correct? Or
No, she's just moving on.
moving on? Okay, so we have an opening, and we want to bring back a former employee as a longtime employee as an independent contractor. And so the current employee is leaving at the end of the year, and so Tim wanted to get this approved today, and I apologize for that we just got it to you. But this is an agreement that we've previously used with some additional language that GIS requested about workers' compensation, so.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve signing the independent contractor agreement. Got it.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second, and I will tell you, to have Henry Snyder back, not only to do the work, I mean, he was fantastic, We hated to lose them. I think, Jerry, you can speak for that, but as well, continue to train the new people that have come aboard. So the future is bright with this and excited to have this in front of us.
Be coming back to the city of LaPorte.
Retirement isn't everything, you know, that it was made up to be, so. But no, we wish their family well, but as well, good to have him back. And further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye,
you.
motion passes 3-0.
Tim, thanks you, Board. So next is the communicable disease policy. This is just updating CDC guidelines with COVID, new COVID, and less restrictive actions, and also adding under, first page under communicable disease policy, we're adding monkeypox as one of the communicable diseases. And then on page 2, COVID-specific protocol has eased quite a bit, including recommending that instead of quarantine, if you are exposed to COVID-19, wear a high-quality mask for 10 days and get tested on day 5. And that's a protocol we have been following here at the city. We've seen a little bit of spike. People are worried about with the holidays coming up, and they're coming up and picking up their COVID test from me. But we are running short, and I'm going to try to secure some more from the health department for us. Again, you should also isolate if you are sick and suspect that you have COVID-19, but have not yet received or done a test yet. If your test results are positive, follow CDC's full isolations recommendations. If your test is negative, you can end isolation. I'm also adding in this policy, updated published guidance by the CDC will supersede this. So if sometime during the year they make some changes, the
Good idea.
CDC's guideline will supersede our policy. And then lastly, I know I spoke to you about bringing the new policy handbook in front of you. The changes are so voluminous that Nick Otis and I are going to get together and review them. They are quite substantial. So hopefully by the end of January, Board.
So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye.
Oh, hold on, we just lost Mark.
But he did
He did
vote.
say aye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Board Member.
Thanks.
We'll just take,
I can hear you and see you all very clearly, so.
We have to be able to
See
see
you.
you for the
Oh,
vote
is
to
that-
count. So we'll give it a couple.
So my video's not showing?
Correct.
I think it's an issue on our end, or not?
Okay.
It's a Wi-Fi issue.
Shocking.
while we're waiting, Santa Claus made a visit to the city council last evening, and it looks like Member Romine was good this year.
Damn right.
Santa left a little gift of goodies and not a bag of clay, or box
Coal.
of coal, I mean. We have clay in LaPorte County.
Yes.
Mayor, you can still, continue to vote, you and Ms. Romine, if you want to proceed, or if you want to try to wait for Mark.
Okay, no, I'd like to go ahead and continue. Jerry Jackson?
Got a basement protection grant for 901 Harrison. The plumbing changes, quote from H&G was $4,975. The last time I didn't have these numbers in front of me, it's 100% of the first $1,000, 75% of the next sum. That's a total of $2,981.25, the city's share. The homeowner share would then be $993.75. This is a good program for the city. I'd recommend approval of the basement backup grant for 901 Harrison.
And do you know if they're here because they had a backup, or are they just being proactive, or?
Oh, they had a backup.
Had 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that 901 Harrison's in a, yeah, we definitely get backups in that area.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Have we used all of the grant money for this, or are we getting close? Because we've done several, it seems like.
Yeah, we're close.
Okay.
We're close.
I would like to continue moving forward with a roll call vote. We will, with 2 members.
Yep, that's fine. Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher, absent. Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Phosphorus pay.
Pay request number 8.
Oh, Mr. Jackson, hold on. Mr. Kosher, can you hear Jerry Jackson?
Yeah, I can hear, yes.
All right, I've got pay request number 8 for our phosphorus removal project. That brings, we're at 1.241 million out of 1.238 of the total contract price, that's 71%. There's a number of change orders in this project, both positive and negative. The sum of those change orders, 1, 2, and 3, subtract $6,867.06 from the total contract price. It's a whole miscellany of items. We did need to relocate a storm sewer. We needed a new electrical feed to a pump station. Small items that all wound up to a negative change in the overall contract. Payment due is $117,444 to KDM Services. I'd recommend payment of pay request number 8.
Make a motion to approve.
Second, or well, I don't know if you can see me.
Yep, yeah, you can vote.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 3-0.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jerry. Beth West. Bureaucracy, contracts.
The first contract, though, is our public mass transportation fund that we get from the state every year. This is for next year. They've awarded us $72,420. We just need approval for the mayor to electronically sign the contract so it can get sent on to state, and we can start rolling next year to get reimbursement.
Make a motion for the mayor to e-sign.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
The next item, in 2020, we had created a public transportation agency safety plan per FTA regulations. They've informed us that we needed to make some update changes. One of them, we needed to include a frontline worker, basically one of my drivers that's out on the street. I've talked with Michael Carrier. He is willing to be that frontline worker. So between him and myself and the mechanic, we'll work together on keeping our safety plan updated. The other item that had to be added was a communicable disease protocol, which you'll find on page 11. Pretty much what we've been following ever since COVID hit. We make sure everybody, if they're sick, they get masks. If they're going for COVID tests, they ride by themselves. We have quite a procedure in place, so that's just all outlined in our policy.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion, and what will the driver's responsibility be? Michael Carrier, that's,
He'll just give input on behalf of the drivers. If it's something that he doesn't feel comfortable doing on his own, then he'll talk to everybody else and give us input on, and it's basically safety procedures, things that need to be included on the buses for safety precaution, reporting, things of that nature.
further discussion?
sorry.
Roll call, please.
Member Romine,
Aye.
Member Kosher,
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Beth. Nick Minnick.
First thing I have is a job description for an assistant director of engineering and building services. I don't know if you
Can you pull your mic over?
see, yeah. I don't know if you
Sorry.
did it? Okay, good. And,
So Nick and I worked on this together. Mostly Nick did a lot of it. I just did some cleanup after the fact. This is a position that is in the 2023 budget. It's already funded. So we would like approval of the job description so I can get it posted out on Indeed and hopefully alleviate some of Nick's work.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
From a public perspective, can you explain to the public why this position is necessary?
yeah, so we've always had a project manager position or project engineer position. And that position was filled until kind of middle of last year. But then as that person left, we kind of realized that we needed to expand that more to include some other tasks as we just take on more and more projects. So we're doing significantly more projects than we have done previously. So bringing in somebody that is at just a little bit higher level, that probably has a little more design experience, that can take some of those tasks on, is going to be really helpful for the department and ultimately for the public too. Along with this, we've moved somebody into, instead of a technician, we have an assistant project manager as well. So we'll have an assistant director and an assistant project manager instead of a technician and a project manager.
It'll be almost a domino effect to help your entire department.
Yes.
And other departments as well.
Well, and from a public perspective, and I think I can speak for Courtney and I, both going through the lean system, and we are extremely lean in our departments. And I think that's being responsible with the residents' tax dollars. But we're growing, we have more projects, and if anybody has concern about this, it's easy to say it on social media. Come spend a day with any of our department heads right now. We welcome, whether you guys want to or not, you'll welcome them too. And spend a day and see how that time is, what you're doing. I encourage anybody. We'll open the door and make it happen.
And again, this isn't a new position. It's really replacing an existing position. And I think everyone in business knows. I mean, it's hard to find, really good qualified people right now. I'm kind of in touch with a lot of people in the engineering industry, and they're struggling to make sure that they can find the right people with the right skills and the right talent to fit into their companies. And by having this an assistant director position, we can pay a little bit more than the project manager position was at, and hopefully attract the right people to make the city a great place.
I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Romine,
Aye.
Member Kosher,
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Again, board members.
Sometimes it's hard for me to say this, but Norfolk Southern Railroad.
Norfolk Southern, through our quiet zone for another loop, they decided that they also need to do additional review. So this is an agreement with Norfolk Southern. It's basically a reimbursable agreement. They're allowed to do this. I hope that they wouldn't, but they are. And this allows for their consultant to then review the work that we've already done to get to approval of the quiet zone.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. So again, I just need clarification. So now they are going to,
They're gonna hire another engineer other than our engineer to review what our engineer did.
and how long will this process now take?
It shouldn't be that long. So they aren't really required to. They're not. I don't think they're allowed to drag their feet once the process starts as much.
Because our goal was going to be by the end of this year with this now,
It's not gonna be by the end of the year, but it should be soon after, hopefully, so.
well,
The only dates I have in here are 30 days this and 30 days, so there's no, they don't give us that.
we've done everything required at this point for the quiet zone from a federal level. Further discussion?
So just that, regarding that timing, so they have 30 days to complete that review?
No.
Is that what I understand?
No, what I'm saying is the only time requirements in here say like basically 30 days for this to start, or they don't have an end date. This is the challenge we face every time we have a project involving railroads, unfortunately.
And we get to pay for it.
What's that?
We get to pay for it.
So the other part of this, is there any way to push them along, or if this isn't normal though, correct?
This is normal.
This is
but
normal
it's- We had hoped that it wouldn't be necessary.
after all the work we've done.
Yes, because we already did the diagnostic review, we already did all the legwork, everything is in place. Yet they will not allow it to move forward without their own review also.
So we're paying for their consultant to review our existing work that's been done, is that correct?
Correct.
I don't think we have a choice.
It's hard, they have so much control over their right of way that it makes it very difficult for us to do much of anything.
And I do have a meeting tomorrow with Congressman Yakum's chief of staff locally here. He wants updated information regarding the relationship with the railroad and what they can do as well. So we'll add this to the list.
This is coming out of 22 money
This will probably come out of 23.
because of when it'll actually be done. Okay.
Further discussion? I won't say anything more. Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, so you're aware that these agreements happen. How often do they stop the quiet zone?
It won't stop the quiet zone, we meet all the requirements.
So they cannot stop the quiet zone?
No, we've met all the requirements, and beyond that, we're continually showing improvements to the crossing, so it can't stop it, it's just costing us more and taking more time, which is their expertise.
It's voted on and passed. We'll have to move on now.
Yes. Chief Breton?
You'll see the letter of resignation in front of you, Charles Davis, who ironically would have hit his third year with us yesterday. He's going to Michigan City. Says that he was raised in Michigan City, that's where he wanted to be. He actually, I believe, took a slight pay cut to go there. But Michigan City has started an aggressive campaign to recruit officers, and just so you know, that the Newton County officer that was here was being surrounded outside to apply with us also as well. So we're doing the same thing. So I just ask you to accept his resignation and permission to hire. It'll give us 4 people to hire now.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, and discussion. I know you can't do anything about this, Chief, but very disappointed that we can't get proper notice when somebody leaves like this, especially for the police department, which is an important part to keeping us safe. But we do wish Officer Davis safety and good luck in Michigan City. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
And then I don't have it in front of me, it won't load on my phone, but you've got the traffic safety program, that's what we participate in every year. I
Oh.
believe I have to DocuSign that from my computer. It's through the state, they reimburse us for the overtime. I believe that's the CHIRP, right? The CHIRP grant? Courtney. It's
I'm
the
sorry.
chirp one.
Yes, it is the chirp one.
Don't ask me what that stands for. They have acronyms for everything at the state.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, so further detail just what this does with the dollars?
It concentrates on the aggressive driving, seat belts, things of that nature.
Click it to live it. I think there's,
Yeah.
there's DUI, there's
Yeah,
several different grants
times.
within that.
Yes. It's several programs throughout the year. And what
And-
we do is we pay the overtime, they reimburse us.
Yes,
and
it's
a set
reimbursable
dollar
up to a
amount.
specific amount in the grant.
30.
So I do have a motion and a second. I would like to also say, with aggressive drivers, we've been working with the legislature, you know, some type of technology that doesn't require an officer to write a ticket, but hopefully, I hate to use the word red light camera, but especially around schools, where we want to keep our children safe. There's technology out there the state of Indiana does not currently allow, but hopefully we can look at having an opportunity to do that, which will free up officers to do other things and focus on the issues that we do have outside of speeding.
Right, and several states allow it. We just, unfortunately, Indiana does not allow it for us.
And we're asking for board approval for Chief Breton to DocuSign and myself to DocuSign this grant award.
Further discussion? All in favor? Roll call?
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye. Motion passes. Quotes.
We have a bunch of them here. With trying to close out what we had left over in unused salaries, update our radar units. We have several that are bad. As you know, electronics are 5 to 7 years. Some of the radar units we're going to replace, we put into service 2010. We're planning on sending those in to have them fixed up, but this will fill that void. Kemp's office furniture, we need a desk for our new mental health specialist, and we have, that's the one thing we're lacking. We got the office set up, we just need the desk. Several chairs for officers, as you can imagine, the duty belts, the guns, rip these things up. We haven't replaced any in our report room for our uniform personnel. I got the expensive ones with a lifetime warranty. The county's had them 7 years and never had a claim. We get 3 years and you wouldn't want to sit in these chairs. They're all broken down and ripped up. And then the other things, the public safety, that's for the computer laptop trays. We're gonna put computers in the detective cars. They work a lot of traffic. That puts everybody on the same page. Also on a crime scene, they can roll up. They can actually work from their car.
Are we approving all four at once?
However.
You can certainly do that if you'd like.
Do I have a motion to approve all of these contracts or agreements at once?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. And again, I want to remind everybody, the desk is for our new social worker. As we've seen in the issues we've talked about, we're being proactive with our fire, with our police, about looking at a new way to serve our community and keep them healthy and safe. And you'll be hearing more from the fire. But I think this is extremely important to have a social worker. We're treating our guys, training them to knock doors in, drag the bad guys out. But we also need those individuals that, you know, can manage the suicide attempts, the drug overdoses, and help those individuals that need help find it and work with them on it. So, absolutely. Further discussion?
Mayor, I got a quick comment along those same lines, and just having been involved with a couple different organizations for over a decade now, it is one of the top things that we hear about, right? The mental health needs of our community. And while, again, moves like this, and of course, we're disapproving a desk, but to be able to have that kind of expertise available for the police department, I think is another step in the right direction. So again, I know it's just a small thing in terms of the desk, but I think this is very smart of us to continue moving this direction. The question I have is just Chief, are these, because I love the idea of the chairs that have a warranty where, especially lifetime, that, they're not going to take a beating, as you indicated. Are we replacing all the chairs, or is this just those that are currently damaged?
That's gonna replace all of them. That's all the
Okay.
supervisors on patrol shift and the officers that have to type reports. So
Okay,
there's gonna
thank
be a
you.
pile of them out by the dumpster. They're bad. You won't even wanna sit in them.
And again, we have standards, we're higher expectations, and yeah, I encourage anybody from the public that would like to go sit in some of these chairs that they've been using, please do. Further discussion? By the way, lead time, is there anybody out long lead times, or should all this be dealt with pretty quick?
Everything was pretty quick. We were guaranteed few weeks, 3 weeks at the most.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Award bid for 910 State Street.
Craig, okay. At our last meeting, we received one bid from Susan and Dudley Byler. The amount of the bid was the minimum bid required for this offering. We've discussed this internally. I've discussed it with Attorney Otis, and since they've offered the minimum bid of $200,500 as requested by our fact sheet and the information included in the bid packet. The proposal is for the development of the first floor for entertainment and hospitality purposes, basically a possibly restaurant, hospitality type use, entertainment type flex space. The second floor would be focused on the creation of modern co-working office type space. And we feel that this is a good use for the building, a good reuse for the building. And as a result of that, we would like to request that the Board of Works award the bid to Susan and Dudley Byler, subject to the further approval at a later date of a detailed development agreement. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that. Mr. and Mrs. Byler are here today as well, so if they want to say something, I would ask them if they'd like to come up and say anything, but that's the request that's before you today.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Questions here. So the work that has to be done, the appraised value of this building as is was how much?
$200,500.
So that was the appraisal.
Correct. That was the average of 2 appraisals.
Correct. So again, we're hitting public appraisal amounts. If anybody hasn't been in that building lately, I encourage you to do that. We have an elevator that doesn't work. That's, I hate to say it in front of Mr. Byler, but he's experienced enough to understand what the issues are there. We have all the issues in the basement. Plumbing issues, all types, the funding that we did not have. And I also believe we had roof issues, maybe HVAC issues, where we actually had to pull out the seniors during their Thanksgiving dinner because the fire department had to come because there was a issue. So we didn't have funding to repair this. We're not going to allow seniors to stay in an unsafe environment. And the best thing we can do is put public property into the hands of a private developer and move that forward. And I've heard rumors that people are going to come here with bags of cash and buy this and turn it around and sell it for $500,000. I've not seen that yet. I welcome anybody, when we want to wait for those bags of cash that someone wants to take this project on, because I don't see it. Welcome, I'm always available if you want to call me.
Bags of cash.
Bags of cash. But unless they do, I think we move forward with this bid here because Dudley Byler has shown, and his family have shown good development in downtown LaPorte, successful, and are addressing housing, have addressed retail needs. And we think this should be a good project. And one thing I'd like to add is any opportunity, like we do all developers, to use local contractors whenever necessary. Please keep that in mind. We'd sure love to see that. Further discussion?
Mayor, just, I think we both went into that building together, and it's got
Yes.
a lot of potential, but it does need work. But it's a great historic building that I think because of the overpass, maybe a lot of people don't appreciate how nice it could be. But it's not been on the tax rolls either because the city's owned it. So you're going to put a building back onto the tax rolls. I'm on Beacon right now looking at it's got the old picture of what Mr. Byler's building on Lincoln Way looked like, and what it is now is dramatic. So we've got one example of him turning something around here, so we're excited about this. So
What's the timeline? Because you said now it has to go in front of a development committee?
no,
come back to
you.
development agreement.
A development.
Yep.
We'll come back to you as a
Sorry.
body, the Board of Works, with as a development agreement, detailed development agreement, which we'll get right on after the first of the year.
Okay.
And Mr. Byler, put you on the spot. Would you like to come over and say a few words? And please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Dudley Byler, my wife Susan Byler. Our address, of course, is 702 Lincoln Way. Appreciate the opportunity to pitch something like this, and we're really excited about the potential. On our development, our business is kind of a multi-strategy real estate investment. Development is a piece of that. We're extremely select in the projects we take on, and this is one of those projects that we're really excited about because we don't like to do boring things, and we see a lot of potential. Our theme is a work-play balance. As part of our proposal request here is the space in front of the building, which we would like to extend the reach of the firehouse, which we think would be extremely attractive to somebody in the restaurateur or the hospitality space. The upstairs piece is our work element, of which is an office space that is more fitting to kind of more norms and recent trends. As you sit here and we talk about recruiting and attracting human capital and talent, the businesses in this town need to do the same thing, and part of that is having a space where you can bring in young talent and be excited about going to work. So that's our plan for the second floor space. As everyone notices, it's a really cool opportunity that's kind of under our noses. So thank you.
Questions for Mr. Byler? Thank you, Dudley. Further discussion?
Mayor, just real quick, you commented about people valuing the properties. That Don George is a prime example where the city has rejected bids that came in over what the value of the property is because he didn't like it wasn't what I think the vision of the city. So when you think that it doesn't match, the bid match with what the goal of the city is, the city rejects those bids. So this is based off of the appraisals and what the work that needs to be done. I think it's a very fair price.
Chief Snyder, are you okay with it?
I'm very good.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Member Romine?
Aye.
Member Kosher?
Aye.
Mayor Dermody?
Aye, motion passes 3-0.
I think you have the bid form 19.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there anybody, department head-wise, that would like to say anything? That would be new from the last meeting. Beth West, Transport.
Just real quick, we wanted to make a public announcement that due to the impending storm that's coming in on Friday, Transport was supposed to be running our holiday hours from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but we want to keep the riders safe, my drivers safe. Half of them are coming in from the county. We will be closed. We're already making phone calls to everybody. We will be changing our messages on the webpage. I've got Jess Reuter doing it for the social media. But for the safety of everybody and for as bad as this storm sounds like it's going to be, I think it's best for everybody that we be closed on Friday.
Any other discussion, Mr. Batchelor? I think streets are prepared.
Yeah, two things. One, the dumpster program is going to come to an end tomorrow. because of the bad weather and then starting over in the spring. We did over 120 dumps this year. So, I mean, we really, the people really stepped up and took responsibility on cleaning up the city. And then also with the upcoming weather, we met with the police and the fire yesterday, had a meeting, a good meeting about things to look for, how we're gonna deal with the weather that's coming up. But remember that if it does come, and this storm's supposed to be pretty bad, that if we get 2 inches, remember that you park, if you live on an odd side, you park on the odd side of the street, and then the other day, you go to the other side. So you're alternating each day so we can keep the streets clear.
And so how do you measure 2 inches?
If it's snowing a lot out, switch.
Other
But if it's supposed to be blowing and everything else. It's supposed to be pretty bad. I mean, they're talking about Thursday night, 5 to 8 inches, and Friday night, the same thing and that stuff. So be careful.
So if you see Jeff out there measuring
Yeah, I
stick,
got
you know.
bring my tape measure.
Your snow gauge.
Yeah.
Any other department heads?
The only thing I want to announce is Brian Lenig that was here, he had the rank of corporal. We did do a promotion on Tuesday, and that was Adam Joskowiak is now corporal. He's if you remember, he's the one that came in and spoke to us about the ERT. He's a very active officer, works street crimes. I'd like to congratulate him on his promotion.
Absolutely. Congratulations, AJ.
Mayor, real quick, yesterday I talked to Chief Breton. I was coming down over the overpass into town, watched a semi turn right off of Lincoln Way onto the overpass and took out the crosswalk sign, which then disabled all of the stoplights at the intersection. I don't know how long they were down for, but it kind of got chaotic quickly, and it's an example of you talk about the truck traffic in downtown. It was fascinating to watch that thing semi just ripped it, right, I mean, just right off.
And we're not blaming the drivers. The drivers don't want to be downtown, but it's an unfair situation for them and for our residents. And we're excited to see the county with new elected officials that should be able to be about progress, because as you look, we don't want to wait 40 years like for their EMS station to come to Rolling Prairie. We want to get something done for our residents. It's been 20 years. It's too long. Let's provide options so the trucks can actually get in and around LaPorte without having to deal with truck traffic and put our residents and our families in danger. So, Mr. Schreiber.
Just to quickly follow up on the redevelopment of the 910 State Street. And again, this is something that we've been upfront with our members of the Activity Center for Older Adults, and we've mentioned this in the media, but we do want to call them and put it on public record that we are looking for a new location. We're very excited about the future. The last 8 months since we've taken over, we've doubled the enrollment at the senior center. So things are looking good, and we're working with the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte on a strategic master plan that will ultimately lead to a new senior center down the road. But we're not going to close the senior center. We're not putting anybody out on the streets. We're very excited for where we're going with senior programming, and everything is on the upswing there. So just wanted to make sure everybody understands that we are currently looking for a new location, and we will not close until we have them moved.
And we will not
leave our seniors behind. We understand the importance of, for any community, how you treat your seniors is how you're judged, and we're on the right path and very excited to be working closely with the Healthcare Foundation on a strategic plan that's going to be good for the short term, but ultimately be great for the long term.
And I'll tell you, the heartfelt thanks from the seniors at the Christmas dinner last week, you could just see in their eyes how much they love being a part of this group. So thank you to Mark Schreiber and his team.
Yeah, Pam Carroll, our recreation director, and Cindy Polito, who is the director on site at the senior center. They've really taken to her. She's really done a great job of upping the number of programs and services. But we know we have a lot of room to grow, and we're very excited for where the future of that is going. So we want to make sure that any older adults out there know that we are not closing. We are growing. We will be relocating, and then ultimately have another site down the road in the future. But we are not closing. We're if anything, we are growing our services. So just wanted to make sure the public is well aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Further comments? A reminder, today is the LaPorte versus Michigan City Mayor's Ring-Off for the Salvation Army. We'll be at Kroger's all day till 6 p.m. Again, we did not agree to this until we received confirmation that Michigan City was actually going to give us an effort. They have confirmed they will give us effort this year. We're looking for our third win in a row over them, and obviously helping a great cause in Salvation Army, helping those in need. So please get your food, supplies for the storm today at Kroger, and please donate. Our goal is $10,000, and we have an anonymous donor that is going to match the first 5,000. So even if you can't be at Kroger, I'm sure we can take credit cards or something.
They do have a QR code.
I don't know if he can see
They
me
have a QR
staring at
code.
him. They do have a QR. They do have a QR code. So if you can't be there today, please help support the Salvation Army. And then number 2, the storm. Be careful. Be safe. Stay off the roads if it is coming down hard. Let our team do the work. 3, Merry Christmas. Thank you to everybody in this room that works every day to make LaPorte a better place. So enjoy your family. Merry Christmas. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Member Romine.
Aye.
Member Kosher.
Aye.
Mayor Dermody.
Aye. We are adjourned. Have a great day.